I posted a joke about Israel because it was funny. And this account trolled me. This account had a profile picture that was a Pokemon. So, you know he's legit. And Pikachu said, criticizing Israel is anti-Semitic. To which I said, why? He said, because Israel is a Jewish state. And I said, well, did you know that Israel is 20% Arab? So can't I 20% criticize Israel? Also, last time I checked, I'm an American, which means I can criticize any country I want. Yes. In fact, that's what we do best out here. We criticize countries we don't even know anything about. I think this is a basic human right that should be allowed across the world, that people should be able to freely criticize any country that they don't agree with the actions of. This is as simple as it gets. I don't see why there should be any disagreement. Do you guys remember in 2022 when Iran cracked down on its people after the massive protests? Can we all agree that that was an oppressive act by Iran's government and that was horrible and we should condemn that? We can all agree that, right? We can all agree. See, that's Islamophobic, okay? Because Iran is a Muslim country. Do you see how that's silly? That we can't just take the national religion of a country and use it to conflate criticizing a country with hate of that religion? That's so silly, okay? If we can freely criticize Iran, we can freely criticize Israel, okay? They're both countries in the Middle East. They both start with an I, okay? Sure, one's known for carpets, one's known for carpet bombing. I'm just saying, I can make that joke because it's only 20% of my set. I want to make it very clear. I'm against anti-Semitism. A lot of Palestinians are frustrated that we constantly have to prove that we are not anti-Semitic. Trust me, talk to any Palestinian, we've been asked 1,000 times. And I don't get frustrated. I actually love it. I love proving to people that I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm like, no, come here, I love you. Like, I'm here to love, okay? I get aroused just thinking about it. Actually, I get aroused thinking about how much I love Jewish people. I love the Semitics, as Trump would probably say. I love the Semitics. Yeah, I'm not anti-Semitic. I am pro-Semitic. I support Semitism. Yes. You know how pro-Semitic I am? I'm so pro-Semitic that I am Semitic. Yeah, you didn't know? Arabs are Semitic too. You didn't know that, Pikachu? How can I be Semitic and anti-Semitic at the same time? Do I just equal to zero? What is some matter, antimatter shit? It's like calling a tomato anti-fruit. It's like, motherfucker, I'm fruit too. Yes, if you didn't know what Semitic means, Semitic refers to Semitic peoples. Semitic peoples are people who speak Semitic languages, and the three main Semitic languages are Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic. So unless you know Jesus Christ directly, the Semitic people that you know in your life are Arab and Jewish people. Those are your Semitic friends, okay? Check in on your Semitic friends. They're not doing too well right now, okay? So that's what Semitic means, Arab and Jewish people. Now, just to clarify here, the term anti-Semitism originally was created to speak about hatred towards both Arabs and Jews. It was actually created by a Jewish Austrian scholar in the late 1800s in reference to a French scholar who was saying that the Semitic races are inferior to the Aryan races. And so this Austrian scholar said, hey, that's anti-Semitic, created a word. And then the Germans somehow heard about this and they said, yes, we are that. And he's like, no, it's supposed to be a bad thing. And the Germans are like, yes, we are anti-Semites. And so the word anti-Semite and anti-Semitic was popularized by the Nazis in reference to hatred for the Jews, because that's who they hated. And so the word became popularized as hatred to Jews. And so that's how double racist the term anti-Semitic is, because it was intended to mean hatred towards all Semitic peoples, and it became popularized as only hatred for the Jews. So not only is it horrible because it's about hatred, but it also left out the Arabs. It's double racist. So I know that's a long history lesson, but I typed it all out in the YouTube comment to Pokemon. And he just responded, ... And so I said, in conclusion, yes, anti-Semitism is typically meant about hatred towards Jewish people, and we must condemn that, but also do note that Semitic people include Arab people. So in a sense, the term is also hateful to Arab and Jewish people. And Pikachu finally responds. He says, well, I don't hate Arabs and I don't hate Jews, I just hate you. Well, the truth comes out, I see. I'm like, well, I can live with that. I can live with that. But just so you know, that is anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. There's a genocide going on in Gaza, and if you're not entirely sure that it's genocide, look up the definition of genocide. And if you still don't think it's a genocide, you don't understand how definitions work. The word genocide upsets a lot of people. People are like, no, it's not a genocide. And you're like, why? You're like, because it doesn't feel like a genocide. Oh, is that how we go by now? What you're feeling, it's a genocide. So much so that South Africa has tried to charge Israel with genocide. If South Africa goes after you for racism, you know you don't up. And they're making their case, but I think they could have been a little more aggressive. The only mistake I think South Africa made was they didn't hire Cat Williams as their prosecutor. And this motherfucker's fake, and this motherfucker's fake, and this motherfucker is an industry plant. Only some people saw the interview, that's fine. But yes, it's a genocide if you look up the definition. It's a genocide. I've heard a lot of people try to argue that it's not. Like, it's not a genocide because there's still Palestinians left. Like, what the f***? That's not how it works. The worst thing I heard was, oh, how is it a genocide if the Palestinian population keeps increasing? You're like, first of all, how do you know that? You're clearly tracking the population, which sounds like somebody who would commit genocide would do. This one guy was like, how is it a genocide if the Palestinian population has increased by 500% in the last 50 years? I'm like, okay, you're definitely trying to commit a genocide. You are tracking that population way too hard. But it's true. The Palestinian population has increased by 500% in the last 50 years. It's almost doubled in the last 20 years. Why? Because they're trying to counter a genocide by multiplying. That's how you do it. Take notes. Because Palestinians, they're using the one weapon they have. It's not rockets, it's not rocks, it's drive. You know what I mean? Palestinians are really good at procreating. I mean, like, really good, okay? I mean, like, really good. Trust me, like, really good. From the river to the sea, we be I actually wanted to be 100% sure, so I looked up the definition of the word terrorism. I was like, it's time, I'm gonna look it up. I want to find out what it is they've been saying I do this whole time, you know? And I looked up the definition of terrorism. It'll blow your mind. The definition of terrorism is using violence to achieve a political goal. Oh, America's never done that. I laughed out loud when I saw that definition. If the definition of terrorism is using violence to achieve a political goal, America is the biggest terrorist country of all time. Of all time. If that offends you, change the definition or change history, okay? Because that is what we specialize in. That is what we specialize in. And I noticed that when I say this in the United States, people kind of, they get a little taken back. You know, they're like, ah, I'm not a terrorist. Don't call me a terrorist. Stop calling me a terrorist. I am not a terrorist. And it's like, relax, I'm not calling you a terrorist. I'm not saying that you're a terrorist, okay? I'm simply saying that you're a terrorist sympathizer, okay? That's all I'm saying. You're a terror simp, as the kids would say. You're out there simping for the tea. Yeah. Listen, it doesn't have to conflict you internally. You can be aware that if you live in the United States, you're part of a global terror regime. You can be aware of that. It doesn't mean you can't love your country and not want to make it better. In fact, I argue that you cannot make your country better unless you actually know about the dirty we do overseas. I argue that you don't actually love your country if you can't call us a terrorist, okay? Because you gotta know who you love. You gotta love who you know. And this doesn't have to like change your internal value structure. Like if you still want to use the word terrorist, you can, but you gotta use it consistently, right? Like if you want to call a one-person suicide bomber, or as I call them, a one-man band, if you want to call them a terrorist, that's fine, okay? But then you also have to call the drones dropping bombs on entire nations terrorism as well. Because it's all terrifying to the people who receive it. I mean, at least give the small guy credit for acting locally. I thought we support small businesses. You gotta admit, they're more creative, that's for sure. That's why it's called terrorists. It's terror artists. It's a ist. It's a ist. It's like a barista, terrorista. You know what I mean? How do you want your terrorism, grande, right? Like, it's a f***ed up word to use when we use the word terrorist. It's very hypocritical for us to use in the West if you know anything about our history. But the word terrorist is also racist. It's also racist. And if you don't believe me, it's very quick little proof. Okay, just close your eyes for one moment. Okay, I'm not gonna blow myself up. That's not the point of them. You're looking at me like, no. That's not like, and boom, and now you get it. That's not what I was trying to do. Okay, if you're not scared, if you can just close your eyes for a moment. Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna say the word terrorist. What do you see? You're racist, exactly. So that was simple. Most of us saw the same guy, okay? And don't worry, it's not your fault, you know? The media has trained you to see it that way. And so I invite you from now on, when you hear the word terrorist, I want you to look at who they're talking about. Whether it's in the media or casually in conversation, look at who people are talking about. It's almost always going to be the same type of person. It's gonna be brown skin, Middle Eastern, Muslim person, or Luigi for some reason. It's gonna be, they threw Luigi in there. They're just like, whatever, they all use olive oil or whatever, so. And yes, occasionally people do call Trump supporters terrorists, but they call them domestic terrorists. You know what I mean? Like they're the domesticated ones. And we're like the wild ones out here, you know? We're like the feral terrorists, you know? It's like, we're the terrorists, you know? It's messed up. It's messed up. But it's definitively a racist word. Case in point, in this country, we have mass shootings. That's like our national sport right now, okay? We're killing it. No, we are now at the point where we have shooters of all races, so we do believe in DEI shooting, okay? Celebrate the victories if you wish, but yes, so occasionally you will have a Muslim shooter, and when you do, what happens in the media? They drop that T word so fast, right? They're like, this was an act of terror. Or was he part of ISIS? Or has he been radicalized? Like, don't bring math into this, okay? Okay, leave math out of this, okay? But then when you have a white shooter, which we do occasionally, let's be honest, you just don't hear that T word. You just don't hear that T word. What do you hear? He was a lone wolf, you know? Or he was a man on a mission. Yeah, a man had a manifesto, you know? Or mental health is important. Let's talk about mental health awareness. And it's like, yay, good job. Good job for finally realizing that mental health is important. Congratulations, America. I'm glad you finally realized that it actually matters that we have a healthy mind. Congratulations. Good job. No, seriously, good job. Mental health is very important. It is. Mental health is extremely important, and I'm glad that we are finally embracing it. But why is mental health only coming up when we're talking about white villains? Okay? Why can we not equally apply the concept of mental health to our fellow brown villains, who also could use the therapy? Okay? And I know, some of you think I'm just calling racist for no reason. I assure you, I would not just call racist if I didn't have a punchline, okay? This is a real point I'm making. I'll ask you this. Have you ever in your entire life heard this? You know, Osama bin Laden, did he have like depression or something?
Maybe it was like seasonal affective disorder. That's why he was so sad. He wasn't getting enough sun. You know what? September is now Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's never forget. September is now Mental Health Awareness Month. Yeah. Yeah, somebody should have checked in on Saddam more often, you know? Maybe if Saddam had more friends, it would have like lifted his mood a little bit, you know? Like, call your friends today before they become the next Saddam, you know? No, you don't hear anything remotely close to that, okay? Meanwhile, there's like 3,000 documentaries like, was Hitler okay? Like, shut the up, dude. Shut the up. Stop making documentaries about Hitler's mind, okay? At least make a few about Osama, you know? But it's a racist word. And you can ask anybody who looks like me, or anybody in this category, we don't even feel comfortable getting angry in public because people see that terrorist trope in us. We don't have the same freedom to public bursts of outrage like the rest of y'all. Yeah. I'd like to take this moment to give a special shout out to white women, okay? Yeah, I see what you do. No shade, it's admirable. I see you out there showing your anger in public, you know what I mean? Asking for upper management when you can. You're out there working. I'm jealous. I believe that is the level that we should all aspire to and that we could all be one day as a society. I believe that. I do. And that's my goal. I want to be a Middle Eastern man Karen. I do. Yeah. I want to be a Kareem, okay? Yeah. I believe I can be a Kareem, okay? But right now I feel a little limited, you know? Because if I'm in line at the bank and the line's too long, and just like anybody else, I get angry at the line being too long, you know, just like we all do. I can't show it, because if I show it, I'm like, fuck this place, man. Fuck this place, man. Fuck this place. Somebody's gonna see like, oh. If you see something, say something. Hey, I see the terrorist coming. He probably wants to blow himself up and blow this whole place up. And it's like, I do, but I'm not going to, okay? I just have the thought like a normal human being does. What normal human being doesn't want to blow themselves up at the bank, okay? It's a normal human emotion and I'm allowed to have it. Okay? It's messed up because this trope makes it seem like we are angrier than other people, okay? We're not angrier than other people, man. We just have weird shaped eyebrows, so it reads a little differently, okay? That's all it is. It's eyebrowism, it is. Isn't that messed up? How much eyebrows relate to terrorism? Look at Luigi. Look at those eyebrows. Look at those eyebrows. Isn't that messed up? The difference between a terrorist and just an angry guy is plucking. It's so messed up. We gotta pluck and wax our way out of this, is what we gotta do. I hope you do understand why the word terrorist is racist. And people try to flip it. They're like, how come every time there's a terrorist, it's a Muslim? Because you fucking call them that, mother. You're the fucking one out there perpetuating that. So really, we have two options at this point to make the word unracist. We can either call everyone a terrorist equally, anybody who does a violent act, and you're a terrorist, 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 you know? And if that doesn't work, jihad. But I'm kidding. There's one more option before that. The other option, which I like and I think we could try, is we take the word terrorist back and make it cool. Who's with me, kids? Come on. Yeah. Where my terrorists at? Come on. Where my terrorists at? Yeah. Good. I love that's the sound. That's the call of the wild right there. Yeah. I can sense there's people skeptical. They're like, this is not gonna work. Listen, let's take notes, okay? Let's take notes. Black people did it with the N-word. They made it work, okay? Yeah. Oh, uncomfortable white crowd. I see. Oh, yeah. It's true. They made it work. They took the word back. They made it work. We might have to cut off the hard T at the end, okay? Take notes, right? Like, what's up, my terrorists? You know, does that make it? My terrorist. Terrorist, please. You know what I mean? Like, we can make rap songs like Terrorists in Paris, you know what I mean? It's like, Oh, that one was too real. I'm sorry. That was too real. Okay. Right? Or if you don't like that, we can make it more like a record scratch, like terra, era. Or Gen Z will come through, like, I got killer charisma, it's terroriz. Yeah. So we got options. And if those don't work, jihad. But we got options. But yes, so the word terrorist is hypocritical, it's racist, but that's not even my biggest problem with the word terrorist. My biggest problem with the word terrorist is that it is too often used by the Western world to excuse the killing of civilians. I want you to become aware of this. Look at the war on terror. What was that in effect, right? And it's not over. It's still going on right now. Israel does this on a daily basis. Like, Israel will level an entire apartment complex. And we'll all see it. It's not like we don't see this. We all see the video footage. We'll see them level an entire apartment complex, killing families, like verified and reported, well, not reported, but verified civilian families. And we'll all see it, and every human being, doesn't matter what your politics are, you all have the same gut reaction, like, what the f***? You cannot be a human being and see that and not be like, what the f***, right? All Israel has to do at that point is just be like, oh no, we were targeting the terrorists. They always say it like a toddler for some reason, like, the terrorists were in there. Mom, the terrorists. We were getting the terrorists. Mom, the terrorists. And it's like, no, you did not get the terrorists, okay? You did not get the widow wabbit, the terrorists. You killed civilians, okay? You killed civilians. You killed children, dude. You killed children. And yeah, I don't like children that much either, but you can't fucking do that, man. Yes, kids can like make a mess sometimes. They can be little terrorists. They can like knock over things, come into a room and just mess it up. Especially the 2-year-olds, the terrorist 2s. I understand. Kids can be little terrorists, okay? But these little terrorists deserve to live, man, okay? And I know people get uptight when I talk about this stuff. Like, oh, you're just gonna make jokes about terrorism? You're just gonna make jokes about bombs and people dying? Like, yeah, the f*** I am, dude. The f*** I am. You think I'm just gonna see this shit and not talk about it? It is not normal. We cannot just continue to let this shit happen. It is not normal. We have to talk about it. And you know what? I'm gonna make jokes about it. I'm gonna make jokes specifically. You wanna know why I'm gonna make jokes? Because jokes are the #1 form of nonviolent resistance. Did you know that? Jokes are the #1 form of nonviolent resistance. And you know who said that? I did right now, I said it right now. Jokes are the #1 form of nonviolent resistance. They're right up there with water balloons, Is there anything I haven't talked about tonight that you'd like for me to talk about? Anything you guys want?
Degeneracy.
Degeneracy? Like the... No, that's a great... That word's going on my bullet, you know what I mean? That's delay, deny, degeneracy. Degeneracy, the formal definition of degeneracy is just somebody being dumb or what? Like what is the actual definition of degeneracy?
I mean, really, in general, like degeneracy of society, or
the degeneracy of society. So, like, basically the eventual decomposition of another D word, the decomposition of our society. Our society's on the way to failing and crumbling.
Yeah, like tonight might be your last chance at free speech.
Oh shit. Well, yeah. What if he's like, I work for the Trump administration? He's like, I'm Secretary of Words. Trump found me, put me in as Secretary of Words. He saw that I speak, so he's like, you're qualified.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't know, right? You know, Trump coin could be currency tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean, I hope it's not going to happen. But I do think that our society is slowly degenerating, but it doesn't mean we can't enjoy the fall. Well, because I made this reference earlier, and I don't think about this a lot, but like if you read Plato's Republic, basically, you know, Socrates argues that the society only decomposes, and we're at the oligarchy level, and then we decompose into democracy, which is kind of ironic because we thought we were a democracy, but we're not because we're bought by billionaires. But then one day we'll have the democracy, which is what we think we want, and it's actually worse for some reason. And then we eventually decay from there into tyranny. But I think the beautiful thing is we know we're going down either way, but with Trump we skip a step. You know what I mean? So with Trump we can go directly from oligarchy straight to tyranny. It's like, it, just end it now. You know what I mean? Like, don't bring, sorry, there's Gen Z people who are getting too depressed. I have to. The thing is, like, millennials and Gen X, we can take the dark jokes, but Gen Z, like, this is too real. But yeah, degeneration. Wait, that's what you said, right? Degeneration.
No.
Degeneracy. Degeneracy. That sounds like generosity. Degeneracy. Yeah, actually, somebody needs to look that up and tell me the formal definition. Please, somebody. The state of degenerating. So why would that not be degeneration? So, I mean, or those words are just the same, and we have two different words for the same shit, and that's why we're fucking degenerating.
It means having lost the physical, mental, or moral qualities considered normal and desirable.
Okay, well there you go. There you go. Can you pull that back up? Is there alternate definitions that also apply to society? Because that sounds like a personal thing. Lacking the physical, mental, let's say spiritual. Moral. Oh, well, I lost that a long time ago. So I've been degenerating quickly. I'm sorry to make you pull it up again. Yeah.
There's a mathematical definition.
Lovely, even better. Yeah, that's not what you meant, was it? Now I look bad. I should have gone to that first. Yeah. What's the mathematical definition?
Relating to or denoting an example of a particular type of equation, curve, or other entity that is equivalent to a simpler type, often occurring with variable parameters such as zero.
Absolutely. So basically, degeneracy is when you refer to something and you're saying like, oh, it could be simpler. So it's like 4x equals 2y. Like, what are you doing? That's 2x equals y. Come on, you know? Degeneracy. And so, I mean, I believe math is always the fundamental truth. So if we take math and then apply it and then actually look at what that means as humanity, is really that degeneracy means that we can actually be simpler than we really are. Okay? So maybe it's not as much about us falling as a society. It's just maybe we need to simplify. And, I know, right? And that's why you can find me on Rednote, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, LinkedIn, all that shit. I mean, ultimately, I think that's always a good lesson. Simpler is always better in most ways. But good. Now, sorry to bother you again. Can you tell me the definition of degeneration, just so if anybody ever asks us, we can make very clear what the difference is?
So it's not that they're different. I just know words like, math. They're just different forms of the same word.
So it is a different form of the same word?
Yeah, it's the same word.
So when you looked it up, it said degeneracy or degeneration equivalent?
So I looked up and I've been giving you the definitions of the word degenerate.
Yeah. Yes.
Every other definition is
degeneracy, degeneration, it's the state of degenerating. Exactly. It's almost like we have 5 different words for the same concept. Don't you think there's a simpler version of that? All right, guys, whatever. Degeneracy.
I
Okay.
wanted to talk about the magnet.
You want to talk about the what?
The magnet. I'm so curious.
The magnet? Oh, what is it for?
Tattoos.
Oh no, this is a political statement. It's because right now people are MAGA and I'm magnet. So, Make America good, nevertheless. Everything's totally fine. Yeah. Wait, what did you say?
Every time.
Every time. Yeah, make America good, nevertheless, every time. Nevertheless. What's that? That's a good political slogan. Yeah. It's better than my other one. Degeneracy is here. No, this is for a recording device. So I have a bomb strapped to my chest. What if that's what it was? Like it records what I'm saying, but if the set doesn't go well, it just explodes. It's a 2-in-1. That's why I'm a social justice jihadi. So. Okay, degeneracy, that's a great one. And then there was something over here. Somebody have something from
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah, what? And P, everybody has to throw in a P Diddy. It's like every time somebody wants to talk about Diddy, like hasn't that guy's house burned down yet? All right. Okay, let's talk about Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg, he did something, right? He sold out. He did a Trump thing. Yeah. He did what did he do? He did like a Bitcoin event with Trump, like a Trump coin event?
No.
Sponsored by. And did he get up there and did he rap?
He's a DJ. It's him along with Nelly. What was it?
No.
Soulja Boy.
Make America grizzle. With Soulja Boy? Damn, Soulja Boy, just fallen in our eyes. Right? Our beloved Soulja Boy, we held in highest esteem. God, so who's to blame for Soulja Boy's degeneracy? You. Okay. Why do you guys know so much about squirrel autopsies? You got a funny joke for me? Cool, let's stop the show. It's actually really dope. Thank you. Beautiful. Picture? Yeah, that was good. Natural, right? I'm natural. Awesome. Thanks for coming to the show. Thanks for leaving this seat open. That's what we do. It's always my policy. I need to keep one seat open. Just in case things get weird, I can look at something. You know what I mean? Awesome. Thanks for bringing young fellow here. Yeah? That's so sweet. I never know, actually. Sometimes you see a kid, he's like, I'm actually 60 years old. How old are you, little brother? You're 8. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Got ID? Thanks for coming, man. Is it your first comedy show? Second? Who you seen? You forgot? Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Not memorable, these other comics, I see. You can't forget yellow highlighter sweater, huh? That's why I wear it. Gotta be memorable. It's amazing. My name is Sammy. Nice to meet you, brother. What's your name? What's it? Zach. Pleasure to meet you, Zach. Thanks for coming to the show. I hope this second show is better than the first one because clearly that one was not good enough for the books. But I've been feeling really good lately. I've been eating plant-based. For those of you not familiar, that means that I eat only plants or animals that eat plants. And no, we got vegans here, some vegans. Awesome. The one vegan in Milwaukee. That's amazing. There's literally cheese everywhere. Sometimes it rains cheese here. You have to stay indoors. I get it. It's hard being a vegan in Wisconsin, you know. I love, what's that?
I love the cheesecake.
You love cheesecake? Hell yeah. That's my man right there. I love that. Was not expecting that at all. You are free to talk anytime you want during the show, my friend. I welcome whatever you say. You know the kind of stuff that adults say during jokes? They're like, that's not true, or that's not funny, or I don't like that. You're like, I like cheesecake. Like, yes, you're speaking my language. A lot of soccer fans came from Tel Aviv to watch the game in Amsterdam, but basically, what's that?
I got a funny joke.
You got a funny joke for me? Cool, let's stop the show. What do you got for me? What do you got? Yes. What's that?
The teenagers and adults go in front.
The teenagers and adults go in front of what?
Of the car.
Of the car, yes.
And the kids and the little kids go in the trunk. Well, where do the babies go? In the trunk.
All right, let's do some work on this joke. I'll paraphrase what I heard so far. Again, I gave you free rein to disrupt the show at any point, even before the climatic punchline, but I like your joke better. I like your joke better because the bit that I was doing only has a shelf life of like 1 more week. Your bit sounds like it'll last forever. So I'm just paraphrasing, okay? The kids and teenagers ride in the front of the car, okay? Where do the babies go? They go in the trunk. This is a very strange joke, to be honest. I don't know where it's going, but because it's told by an 8-year-old, it is somehow very adorable. You know what I mean? I don't advise for any adult comedians to come up here and do jokes where babies are put in the trunk. I don't think any babies should go in the trunk. I want to make that very clear. Sometimes people take my words a little too seriously. Do not put your baby in the trunk, okay? Was that the joke? That's good. That's awesome, man. You got it. You got talent. Now, I'm going to go ahead and help justify his joke a little bit more because babies can be very loud. And they can often cry, right? And it can disrupt your ride, right? You've seen babies, these little cry babies, right? You're past that phase. You don't need to deal with that anymore, right? So if you have a crying baby, put him in the trunk. Okay, don't repeat that anywhere, but anyways, that's the kind of the stuff the Israeli soccer fans were saying at the event, is what I'm saying. Okay. Well, this has been fun so far. I only have 3 hours left, but I always like to make sure there's a portion of my show where I ask the crowd, listen, I've talked about a few things tonight. Is there anything that you want me to talk about that I haven't talked about yet?
Kashmir.
What?
Kashmir.
Kashmir. Oh, yeah, of course. The sweater, yeah, I think that's exactly what he was talking about. How did you know? He's like, is yours Kashmir? Yeah, it is. It's for sure a Kashmir sweater. Let's talk about it. I will say, I don't know a lot about the situation there. Do you want to fill me in, set me up a little bit, tee me off?
It's an occupation as well.
It's under occupation as well, right? By India.
India, Pakistan.
And how do I make this funny? And when did the occupation start in Kashmir?
47.
47. Okay, so it's actually a year older than the Israel-Palestine conflict. So it's like maybe we have to solve that one first. And it'll be like a spiraling. I've always thought about this. It's always like, it's like the IPs, like, Israel, Palestine, India, Pakistan, you know what I mean? Like IP address.
Same issue, no rights.
Same issue, no rights, they're suppressed. Can we go live there?
It's described as heaven on earth.
It's described on heaven on earth.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. That's why they want it. It's always the nicest places. Sometimes I wish, because I live in Fremont, California, and nobody's trying to occupy it.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, actually, with his Tesla factory did. That's actually true. You said it is getting better?
No, it's going
It's getting worse. Okay, great. Thanks. That was about to find us. I was like, oh, give me something positive so I can find my way out of this hole. I was like, it's getting better? He's like, no, it is going deeper into the hole. Just like your performance, just deeper into the darkness. Like, what's next? We're going to talk about Diddy? Like, geez, it's just not. I think Kashmir will be free. I think it will be free. Everybody get a Kashmir sweater and, what'd you say? It's Peanut the Squirrel. Y'all know about Peanut the Squirrel? It's actually a really up story. Because Peanut the Squirrel was a famous TikTok squirrel, had more followers than me, not envious at all. If you see it, so this guy had a squirrel. He lived in, I believe, upstate New York, had a squirrel, and it was his pet squirrel, which obviously, pet squirrel, you don't often have that. And it was a very cute squirrel that he trained it to do stuff. Like it would jump off of things into his arms, and it was very cute and like very affectionate. And it seemed like everything was all happy and dandy, but the government found out about it, the New York State government, and they went and they seized the squirrel and they put it down. Yeah, exactly, because they're like, oh, what if it has rabies? They're like, did you test it? I don't know if they even tested it. They're like, we got to kill it because it might go get the wrong acorn or something.
That's how they tested it.
What's that?
That's how they tested it, is they have to decapitate it and test the brain.
Oh, really?
That's why they killed it.
This is why I said adult heckles. I know that wasn't a heckle. That was a constructive. This is where I needed more of the kid. Like, give it cheesecake. You know what I mean? Like something. Hold on. I'm going to push back on this a little bit. That's the only way to test for rabies, decapitating a squirrel and looking at its brain?
Cheapest.
It's the cheapest way. state, dude. That's what I'm saying. It all comes back to money.
Not the cheapest, that's the only certain way.
It's the only certain way. Why do you guys know so much about squirrel autopsies? You're like, of course, everybody knows. You cut open a squirrel's brain. That's how you test for rabies. Who didn't know that? Is this unique to squirrels only or also? Really? So if there's a possibility that I might have rabies, they're going to be like, sorry, bro, got to cut up the head open. But you said decapitate. Do they really got
Nervous tissue.
the nervous tissue, which can only be found in the brain, or can you also use like in the spine? So can you do like a squirrel spinal tap? It's too small.
Spinal tissue, not the fluid.
It's not.
In the tap, you just get fluid out.
You actually need tissue.
Yeah, it looks like that.
You have to cut the brain. You have to like literally kill them and take the brain. Okay, for humans, is there more options?
Certain you need tissue, but yes,
Are there people walking around with rabies?
survive.
There's 2 survivors. You know them personally? Did you invent the rabies vaccine?
That physician was from Wisconsin.
Really?
The forest protocol, yeah.
The forest book?
Protocol.
The forest protocol. I thought you'd be like, it's the Jungle Book. It's everybody knows Mowgli had rabies for a little while. He was the one survivor. That's the world we're living in. If the government found out about Mowgli, they'd be cutting open his brain, man. Sorry about your kid for this, but listen. So that's the only confirmed way to take brain tissue or spinal tissue. But would you have to kill a person to do that? No, you could do that. You could do like a lobotomy.
No, we don't kill humans to do that.
They don't kill humans to do that. Oh, thank you. So great. Thank you for not killing us to test for rabies. But squirrels, do you think, from your expertise, what do you do, by the way?
An ICU physician.
ICU physician. So do you think they absolutely had to kill the squirrel?
So for animals, you can do one of 2 things. Either to be certain, you have to kill them.
For an animal, you have to do one of 2 things. You can either kill them to be certain, which is like, we're certain it's dead. Well, obviously, if it's dead, you can do whatever you want with its brain, and you can find all the good stuff in the brain, right? Yeah.
Another way that certain people do is that they quarantine them for a certain amount of time and see whether they develop symptoms or not.
They quarantine the animal for a certain amount of time to see if the animal develops symptoms. Now, in this case of Peanut the squirrel, clearly did not display any symptoms. So, I mean, I would imagine there's such thing as carrier squirrels, squirrels that are asymptomatic, that are still out there carrying rabies. Man, this is like, no disrespect to Kashmir, a very serious problem, but like, this is, maybe we need to address this one first. Like, we don't even have a way to test for rabies that doesn't kill somebody. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, well, we all learned a lot. Well, Peanut the squirrel's dead because they obviously did the first way. They're like, we don't have time to quarantine the squirrel. Do you think, let me ask you, okay, and this is not a lot of pressure, obviously, just because you have all the information in this particular case. You also have information too, which is also very alarming that, okay. But if you were in charge, you were the local doctor, the top of the doctor source in that locale, and they're like, Doc, this guy owns a squirrel. The squirrel's got 1 million followers. It's a very popular squirrel. Here's a video of the squirrel kissing the owner. But we're concerned that it might have rabies. What do you think we should do?
I'm not a veterinarian.
You're not a veterinarian. Clearly, yeah. You play one on TV. Yeah. What would you do?
If I'm suspicious enough that an animal might be harmful,
Yeah.
for the betterment of the humans, yes, you would have
For the betterment of the humans, you would kill the squirrel. What about for the betterment of the squirrel population? That's the problem. We're always putting ourselves first, you know?
He was rabies free.
He was rabies free. How do you know that? You checked the brain? Oh, because they did the test after. Yeah, what a sad ending. They're like, sir, we need to kill your squirrel. That's the only way that we're going to find out rabies unless we quarantine it. We don't feel like doing that. So we're going to kill your squirrel. And then he's like, no! Ooh, yeah, no rabies here. Sorry about that. Do you want the body? Messed up, so messed up. Are you also a doctor?
No.
I don't even want to know what you are, man. Hey. What do you do?
I work for an insurance company.
Okay, of course. He's more on the technical side. He's like, what is the probability that this squirrel is infected and could be a liability to the local population? We can't have property values going down. You earlier said there was only 2 survivors that you know of. That we know of. Yeah. Yeah, we could all have rabies. Well, no, there's no way of finding out, apparently.
I said the last protocol or the last way of treatment that was devised was out in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and I think it's called the Milwaukee protocol.
Oh, really? One of the treatments that was done for a person with rabies happened here in Milwaukee, and they developed what's called a Milwaukee protocol, and that kept one of the very few survivors of rabies alive, making Milwaukee the capital of saving rabies victims. Go ahead. It's not just cheese. It's not just beer. It's not just rock and roll and Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I mean? You guys also save innocent people. Innocent person. You save innocent person from rabies. I really underestimated you guys, man. You know?
Why did you kick that lady out of your show, the one who kept asking?
Why didn't I kick her out? Well, as you can see, I have a very high tolerance for conversations. I've been schooled by doctors and insurance agents, and I literally halted my show so an 8-year-old could tell a joke. So I have a very high threshold for interruption. Because a lot of comedians, they hate hecklers. They're always like, shut up, my trauma, you know, or whatever. Usually a heckler says something, especially if they interrupt the show and they say something really weird. It's like, I kind of want to let them cook a little bit. I want to go inside and see what's in their mind. I let them talk for a little bit and they end up saying crazy that ends up being good content for all of us. You know what I mean? Sometimes it can completely ruin a show. It has killed a bunch of my shows. But it is the only option to get to the root of finding out what the heckler's problem is. You sometimes have to kill the show to get inside their brain. So, Yep. It's the only way that we know of. Or we can lock the crowd in a room for 3 months to see if they develop any heckler symptoms. But I did hear in Milwaukee there was a way out of that, so. Did you have a good time tonight? Thanks.
These Somalians have taken billions.
Quality Leering Center.
Please sleep.
Are there children here?
Please sleep.
These people are very violent.
My small business just received a federal grant for $1 million. Yeah. It's a Somali daycare. It's based in Minnesota. I'm sorry, I'm trolling. They already gave all the money to Israel. So apparently fraud is running rampant in Minnesota, which is shocking when you see that their governor looks like he always just woke up. Every photo of Tim Walz, he's like, you know, it's like, it looks like you just told him that fraud is happening. He's like, fraud! Yes, Coach Walz, please. Apparently this fraud has been going on for a very long time, which almost makes you think the government knows about it, but nah, they ain't like that. Our government would never be in on fraud. All of this recently erupted because of a video that came out. A 23-year-old YouTuber, Nick, surely still on his mom's healthcare, drove around Sub-Zero, Minnesota in an unmarked SUV with 2 guys in ski masks wearing all black with cameras and a random guy named Dave, banging on the doors of Somali daycares, yelling, "Where are the children?" Which may be not a great look in the era of Epstein. The only thing they needed at that point were German accents, like, "Where are the kids?" And so they're going around banging on the doors, okay? Shockingly, the Somali community was not very welcoming to this. I don't know if you know this, the Somali community has just had war waged on it by ICE and the President of the United States. And ICE has basically been all around Minneapolis in 2 ways specifically, but it's winter. But ICE has been covering Minneapolis and specifically targeting and intimidating the Somali community. So naturally, you see in this video, they're coming off a little guarded. You know? So they go like, where's the kids? This is a childcare. Where's the kids? They're like, we don't want to talk to you. And they would close the door. They're like, see? Fraud. Has to be fraud because they closed the door on us. It's even more suspicious. You have this kid, Nick Shirley. And listen, as a fellow YouTuber myself, okay, I respect the art of content. And as a comedian, I am also a master of deception, okay? So game recognized game, okay? But this kid, okay, he knew what he was doing. He knew he was going to situations where it was going to make them look sketchy because he didn't point out on his end of the story that his crew looked very sketchy. So the way he portrayed himself in this video was just, it was him and this guy named David, and they're just going around asking very genuinely, like, hey, where are the kids? If this is daycare, why are there not kids here? But he didn't reveal that he had 2 masked men with him. Big dudes, and you can see them like later in the footage. I had to watch the whole thing for this research, but later in the footage, like you're like, wait, who are those masked men? And they were with him the whole time. So these guys who literally look like ice are rolling up to these, you know, Somali businesses and being like, where are the kids? This is a daycare, right? Where are the kids? Was he expecting them to like bring out the kids and line them up in alphabetical order or something? This is Samir, Jameer, Ramir, Amir. Okay, I don't know Somali names, I'm sorry, okay? So Nick Shirley, who's 23 years old, he looks like a kid, is saying, hey, I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Like, how old were you when you had Joey? Were you 10? I just have my little son Joey wants to join this daycare. They're like, okay, where is your son? He's like, that's none of your business. By the way, where are the kids you have? Like, okay. Like, you're just playing games with these people at this point. And so he's like, yeah, I'm just looking for a daycare for my kid Joey. And they're like, okay, you're definitely ICE, bro. And he's like, no, I'm just looking for a daycare for my kid Joey. They're like, yeah, that's what ICE would say. Like, they were literally here last week and said the exact same thing, except they said Danny, you know what I mean? So this is just reading a little bit weird. In the video, there was a daycare that said Quality Learning Center, but learning was misspelled. It's very ironic, or ironic if you don't use N's, but yeah, it's a Quality Learning Center. But in their defense, I think that was a reference to Shakespeare's King Lear. And if you're not familiar with that plot, King Lear was a play where a king divides his kingdom into 2 and gives it to his 2 daughters who hate him and banishes the one daughter who loves him, only to find out that was a bad idea. So they try to fight back for the kingdom, and in the end, everybody dies. Sorry, spoiler. But yeah, divided kingdom, in the end, nobody wins. Kind of a great analogy for United States politics, actually. But this video was essentially massive rage bait. The video also doesn't show that some of these businesses were already permanently closed because they're being investigated for fraud or because they have like code violations. Also, he did not reveal that some of the businesses were just not open. You can just check Google Maps and be like, they were not open when he went there. Also, something he definitely does not say in this video is that he was shooting this on a Wednesday during school hours. Most daycares open after school because I don't know if you know this, maybe you should check in with Joey, but kids go to school, okay? It's only very, very young kids who get dropped off for full day daycare. That's not as common as kids who are in school, whether it's kindergarten, elementary, or high school. They come usually around 2 or 3 p.m. In the video, there's even a woman who runs the business. She's like, yeah, the kids will be here at 2 p.m. He's like, oh yeah? Well, we'll already be editing the video by then, so there's no way to confirm that. Also, some of the businesses later revealed, they later did press, and they said, here's literal surveillance footage showing that the kids came later. So basically, the irony is that he's trying to report people for fraud when he literally committed fraud over like a 30-minute video, okay? Now, before I get your liberal claps, let's also acknowledge that there is fraud in the Somali community of Minnesota. This is, in fact, actually a very unfortunate thing that's now being used to stigmatize the group as a whole. But the thing about this is the fraud is already under investigation. In 2021, an organization in Minnesota was caught funneling COVID relief funds, okay? And this organization was called Feeding the Future, which is also what I call when I overeat. This organization was basically stealing COVID relief funds. They said they stole nearly $218 million in COVID relief funds. Yes. So first of all, these people already went to trial, okay? 82 people were indicted. 72 of them were virgins. No, sorry, 72 of them were Somali. Sorry, they could have been virgins. I don't know. But yes, a lot of Somali people were involved in that scandal, but the founder of this organization was a woman named Amy Bach, which, as you can tell, is a very authentic Somali name. I don't know what part of Somalia she's from, but send her Bach, okay? There's this claim circulating that the fraud in Minnesota is amounting to almost $10 billion. But the federal investigator who's looking into this specifically said it could be 10 billion. We won't know until we're finished investigating. We only know it's a few hundred million. Okay? That's like me telling a woman that I'm a billionaire, and then she sees that my net worth is 60K. And she's like, you said you were a billionaire. I could be a billionaire. We just won't know for a few, maybe dozen years. This whole daycare fraud scandal in Minnesota has really highlighted America's lack of critical thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, racism should not be used as an excuse to deflect from pointing out fraud, and fraud should not be used as an excuse for justifying racism. It's not hard to accuse people in a group without being racist. Like, saying the Somali community is committing fraud, that's racist and inaccurate, okay? Saying some people in the Somali community are committing fraud because Somalis be pirated, that's still racist, but more accurate, okay? It's also really annoying that everyone now is calling them Somalian. It's Somali, okay? Somalian sounds like an alien. It's Somali, like Pop Somali. Pop Somali. See, we're leering. In my opinion, daycare itself is already a scam. Why am I paying for other people's kids? Okay, yes, granted, I do hate kids. That's my personal problem. I'd be equally as upset if I found the kids were being taken care of. So yes, like, some of the daycares in Minnesota have actually been committing fraud. They've been collecting money from the government and not actually having kids there. And some of them are even allegedly giving a cut to the parents, which sounds like a great deal, honestly. Honestly, I would have a kid to get a cut of that. But, like, really, let's give it up for the government that didn't notice for over 10 years that there was no childs at the child's daycares that they were funding. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't think to check that part? It's in the name, child daycare. Where are the childs? Just like the whole Epstein thing. No one's watching the kids. And people of all races commit fraud. It happens. Yeah, more of us should do fraud. You know what I mean? Really. Fraud is part of the human psychology. Yeah, I learned that from Sigmund Freud. Come on, guys. Come on. I just wrote that one right now. But yes, people are, but they're targeting all their hatred toward the Somali community like they're a fraudulent community, when nobody's pointing out that Trump has already pardoned over 20 people convicted of literal fraud for confirmed billions of dollars. Billions of dollars, okay? And guess what? None of them are Somalian. Now you have people in America like, I don't want my tax dollars going to Somalians. And it's like, dude, like what happened? Remember when we grew up? Every day there was infomercials. Like, for $1 a day, you can feed an entire African family. What happened to that spirit, man? So what? Now it's like 10 million. Inflation. Thanks, Obama. You know what I mean? Like, some are even claiming that some of this money is being funneled into a militant group in Somalia called Al-Shabaab. Not to be mixed up with Al-Kebab, which is a great restaurant. Highly recommend, 5 stars. Al-Shabaab is basically a friend of Al-Qaeda, like our president. And the federal investigator in charge of this entire investigation has already said multiple times there is no evidence that money has gone to Al-Shabaab. Okay? And even if it was, it would be coming from the United States government. So it's basically big terrorists funding little bro terrorists. You know what I mean? I'm kidding. Only one of them bombed Nigeria this Christmas. But the timing of this is all very interesting because it comes after all of Trump's rhetoric about the Somali community being garbage, everybody being hyper aware of what's going on in Minneapolis. And now you have people completely angered, just being like, this whole Somali community in Minnesota is taking money from taxpayers in the United States. And so it's created all this anger nationwide, and the anger has escalated. Like J.D. Vance tweeted this, so you know it's like serious, right? And Trump is also echoing what was shared in this documentary. And so now the government's talking about it. Clearly, there's only one solution. Regime change in Somalia, right? That's got to be the only solution, right? If only there was an opposition government already ready to go to take over the Somali government. What's that? There is one already? But only if there was one that had a similar name to Somalia but was like slightly different. Like not Somalia, but like Somaliland or something like that. Like Candyland, but for Somalia. What's that? There's a Somaliland already? Okay, but if only Somaliland was backed by a fierce military from the West. Oh, what's that? Just last week, Israel was the first to recognize the state of Somaliland? Oh, wow. You guys are always one step ahead, aren't you? You really are our greatest ally. Thank you, Israel. You know what? Give them $10 billion. Yeah, no, make it $12 billion because baby needs her fighter jets. So great work, Nick Shirley. Can you go to Tel Aviv next to see where our money went? Surely not. You gotta admit, isn't that really generous of Israel to recognize the state of Somaliland with nothing in return? Oh, what's that? Somaliland could take the 2 million Palestinians that Israel is trying to ethnically cleanse from Gaza? Come on, now. But that would cost a lot of money. How much money? 10 billion? Get the fuck out. They're saying it would take $10+ billion to relocate the Palestinians of Gaza to Somaliland. The exact amount of money they're claiming is coming out of Minnesota and going directly to Al Kebab. Is anybody else's conspiracy door going off here? Ask Somali people. If you don't have a Somali friend, make one. Go to Minnesota. They're there, okay? Put your kid into daycare if you need to. If you ask any Somali person what's going on, they'll tell you they're typically not a fan of Somaliland. In fact, most Somalis will tell you they're trying to divide our kingdom. Kind of reminds me of this play called King Lear. But you would only know that if you leered it. So congratulations, you've all been red-pilled now. The only way to opt out is to resume to taking Percocet. Or better yet, pop Somali. Thank you so much, San Francisco. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Be safe. Take care.
I think we're moving on to the next location.